is sin? Welcome to Reach for Life program, in which we will explore this important topic of sin. I'm excited that we are together, and alongside me there is Ogi, Angana, Monica, Melinda, and Bosisiwe. So this is an amazing team to help us reflect on the important topic of sin as we listen, look, learn, and live. This program is the third of many coming up, and today we will focus on the issue of sin. Do you know what sin is? I can assure you that this program, Reach for Life, will be very helpful to you. So listen with me to the end, and I'll share context for you to use to write us. In the last few decades, two terrible viruses have swept through the world. The first was HIV. You could take a special test and find out that you were HIV positive. Millions of people died an early death because of that virus. More recently, there's been the COVID virus. You could also take a test, as millions did, and millions found out that they were positive for COVID. There are many symptoms or signs that you have COVID: fever, weakness, chills, difficulty in breathing, sore throat, runny nose, blue toes, and so on. Thankfully, not everyone got COVID, but many did. And each person who got COVID had different symptoms. Some got fevers, others didn't. What many people don't realize is that there is another virus that is far more deadly, and literally everyone has it. A virus that doesn't just end your physical life, but destroys your spiritual life. Which virus is this one? It is the sin virus. Every one of us, even if we don't know it, is sin positive. Today, we will learn about its many symptoms. For now, let me invite Angana to take us to Romans chapter 3, verses 9 to 20, to help us look at sin.
We are then going to read Romans chapter 3, verses 9 to 20. What should we say then? Do we Jews have any advantage? Not at all. We have already claimed that Jews and Gentiles are sinners. Everyone is under the power of sin. It is written, "No one is right with God. No one at all. No one understands. No one trusts in God. All of them have turned away. They have all become worthless. No one does anything good. No one at all. Their throats are like open graves. With their tongues they tell lies. The words from their lips are like the poison of a snake. Their mouths are full of curses and bitterness. They run quickly to commit murder. They leave a trail of harmful actions. They do not know how to live in peace. They don't have any respect for God. What the law says, it says to those who are ruled by the law. Its purpose is to shut every mouth and make the whole world accountable to God. So no one will be considered right with God by obeying the law. Instead, the law makes us more aware of our sin.
It's great to hear you, Angana, read that important passage in Romans chapter 3, verses 9 to 20. But it's time to learn from that passage. What exactly is it that we can learn from that passage? So, over to you, Melinda.
Now let's get to know what we learn from the scripture today. How many of us are sin positive? The answer is all of us. No one is right with God. No one at all. As it is written in verse 10. Each one of us has this spiritual virus, but how can we be sure? Let's get to know what are common symptoms of being sin positive. There are 4. This passage tells us some of them. As we list them, remember that we each tend to have different symptoms, so not everything in this list is true of each of us. Number 1 symptom is we don't trust in God. Verse 10 says, no one trusts in God. All of them have turned away. If God is our creator and we are his creatures, then we need him like a plant needs sunlight. But for some reason, we don't turn our hearts to him. The second symptom, we speak poisonous words. Verse 13 says, their throats are like open graves. With their tongues they tell lies. The words from their lips are like the poison of a snake. Their mouths are full of curses and bitterness. Jesus once said that the words we speak show us the secret thoughts of our hearts. So nasty words prove that we have nasty hearts. Number 3 symptom is we treat people badly. Verses 15 to 17 say, they run quickly to commit murder. They live a trail of harmful actions. They do not know how to live in peace. Instead of building others up, we break them down. Instead of helping others, we hurt them. Instead of healing personal differences, we live at war with others. This takes us to number 4 symptom, which is we don't respect God. Verse 18 says, they don't have any respect for God. God is a great king. This is his world. But we try to climb on his throne thinking we are our own kings, our own gods, and we forget who the real king is. Number 5 symptom is our promises to be better people fail. It's easy to fall in a bad habit of doing things we shouldn't. Then it's so hard to stop doing these things. We may promise others or ourselves that we will treat people better or not say nasty things, but soon we are doing it again. Why is that? Verse 9 says, everyone is under the power of sin. So how does God respond to our sin? First, he makes us aware of our sin. We see this in verse 20. This means that he shines a light on what's wrong in our lives, like a doctor who first runs a test on you to check for all illnesses and then provides the cure. That's why today's Bible passage has a list of symptoms. We might not be as bad as we could be, but all of us have some of these symptoms. The second way God responds to our sin is he holds us accountable. Verse 19 says that the whole world is accountable to God. There is a day, judgment day, that will come when each of us will stand before God. And it will be like the video of our lives will be replayed. All the times we didn't trust God or spoke poisonous words or treated people badly or didn't respect God will come up, and all of our excuses will sound so silly then. It's not my fault. Yes, it is. Others made me do it, but you let them pressurize you. But I didn't know it was wrong. Deep down inside, you know. Can't God just overlook my sins? We may ask, God, just let it go. Pretend it never happened. But we are asking God to do something wrong. Think of the human courts of justice. If a judge lets the guilty off or treats people unequally, that's injustice. But God is a perfectly fair judge. He makes sure that justice happens. He doesn't let anyone get away from their deserved punishment. To do anything else would be unjust.
Great lessons indeed from that passage that we listened to earlier. And thank you, Melinda, for letting us learn from this passage. But that is not all in this program, Rich for Life. Why? Is because now a great team of 3 friends, and this is our Rich for Life trio, that of Monica, Ogi, and Busi. These guys bring in an exciting conversation. So over to you guys.
Wow, today's Bible passage was amazing. There are so many awesome stories in the Bible, but this passage was more confrontational than I'm actually used to.
I agree. To be honest, I've never thought about being a sinner. I've heard people say, Jesus died for your sins, and I thought, oh, that's great. But I didn't know that what it meant. But now, sin seems more serious than I knew.
What helped me is the way sin is like a virus, and there are different symptoms. I always think to myself, okay, so I did some wrong things, but I'm not as bad as a murderer or a person who lies every day. But now I see that I have the same symptoms, but they are smaller. I've never killed anyone, and I never plan to killing anyone. But there are times when I say things to people to hurt them. It's like my words kill. And I don't lie every day, but I do lie now and then. So I have the same spiritual weakness.
Right? Even children start to lie when they start talking. And they hit and scratch other children. Who taught them to do this? It comes naturally to them.
I was thinking about the two women Jesus spoke to in the stories in steps 1 and 2 of this journey. Those stories show how different the symptoms of sin can be. Remember the Samaritan woman? The symptom of her spiritual sickness is that she looks to people and not to God for fulfillment. She is so thirsty, but she thinks that if a man will love her, she will be happy. But it is always ending up in a heartbreak. But Jesus says, only I can satisfy you. What we see in her is that she trusts in people more than in God, and that is very serious.
Good thought. What about the woman caught having sex with a married man, and those men want to stone her?
Let me try to answer that. Both the woman and the man are sinners, but they have very different symptoms. Her symptom is doing something wrong. Their symptom is that they think they are better than her.
That reminds me of something I once heard a preacher ask. If a lady walks out of church and sees a prostitute standing on the side of the road, and she looks at the prostitute with disgust and judgment, who is more like the devil? The preacher explained that the cold-hearted church lady is more like the devil because she thinks she is much more important, so much better, so much more worthy.
Now that is deep. Sin comes in all shapes and sizes.
This is heavy stuff. I must admit I feel a bit depressed. We are more sinful than we ever realized.
Well, I encourage you to hang in there because in the next step, we will learn that we are more loved than we ever dreamed of.
Great. There's some light on the way. I can't wait.
And
until next time, keep on reaching for life.
I'm so glad that we've had this program Reaching for Life together today. And shouldn't you join us next time as we continue on another important topic? Today we focused on sin, that virus. And thank you so much to Ogi Sitoli, Angana Kaonga, Monica Murava, Melinda Kajilima, and Busisiwe Matebule for helping us reflect on these important truths and the whole issue of sin. Well, it's been great to have you guys listen to the program. Why don't you get in touch? I want you to get in touch and tell me what you've learned from this program today. You can email info@twrafrica.org. info@twrafrica.org. And the WhatsApp number is +27 78 014 7955. That number again, +27 78 014 7955. If you send me a WhatsApp, you will receive a link for many resources on Reach for Life. There's more to learn, so do join me in the next program of Reaching for Life. I am Victor. Let's reach for life.
You are King.